Yeah, America! What's up guys, Cam here coming at you with another movie review. Today I'll be bringing you American Sniper. Now before I get into that though, I know that there's a lot of controversy about the movie versus the book and what was in the movie and wasn't in the book and what was in the book but wasn't in the movie and blah blah blah. I'm not going to be talking about any of that though. I'm just going to be looking at this movie purely from a filmmaking perspective. The book isn't even a part of this right now. But anyways, moving on. American Sniper is directed by Clint Eastwood and stars Bradley Cooper as Chris Kyle, who is a Navy SEAL sniper who got deployed to Iraq. And this movie is basically a look at his tours in Iraq, how it's affecting his life, and his marriage, and everything else. Now first of all, I think that this is probably one of Clint Eastwood's best directed movies. And probably one of Bradley Cooper's best performances. The first thing I want to say about Bradley Cooper's performance is, after a while of watching this movie, I don't see Bradley Cooper anymore. I don't see, okay, this is Bradley Cooper playing somebody. No, I just see the character. And when such a well-known actor can do that for you, you know it's a great, great performance. And as you sit through this movie, as you watch how this guy's life is going, you start to feel genuine sympathy for him. You think in your head, okay, this is based on a true story, this is about a real person, and you feel real, genuine feeling for this guy. There are certain things, certain nuances that Bradley Cooper incorporates into his portrayal of this character, and it really adds a great sense of humanity to this character. You really feel like this is a real person. As the movie goes on though, something you'll notice is the pacing is a little bit off. There are large jumps in time without any kind of effective transition that kind of make it hard for you to pinpoint exactly where you are in this guy's life. And that's partly due to the fact that as you watch this movie, you'll find that from scene to scene it doesn't really flow very well. It feels more like just a bunch of events out of this guy's life that are strung together in chronological order. It doesn't really feel so much like we're watching a movie, it feels a bit more like a documentary about this guy's life. You go from one scene where a bunch of things happen, to another scene where a bunch of things happen, to another scene where a bunch of things happen, and there's no real transition between these scenes. But the saving grace in that regard is the dialogue. The dialogue in this movie feels so natural. It feels like these people are having real conversations that real people would have. And to be honest, I feel that that really helps the narrative fallbacks of this movie. How about the action though? The action is actually very, very gripping. Especially the parts whenever it's just Chris Kyle doing his sniping. That is white knuckle action. I am not kidding at all. At times you kind of find yourself holding your breath with him, just waiting for him to take that shot. And that is good action. Something a lot of directors don't realize is you don't have to have a whole bunch of punches thrown, kicks thrown, you know, all kinds of bullets fired and explosions and blah 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 to make a good action scene. Sometimes all you need is a guy behind a sniper rifle holding his breath waiting to take that shot. And that in itself is gripping. It is captivating. And it really helps you feel like you're the one behind the scope. And that's when you know you've got a good director. Although I do feel that the actual shootout scenes themselves could have been handled just a little bit better. But that's just me nitpicking. Overall, I really, really love this movie. Despite its narrative flaws and its pacing, I really found a lot of enjoyment out of watching this movie. I'll probably watch it a million times in the future. I'm going to give American Sniper an 8 out of 10. Well guys, it is that time. Spoiler alert, I will be talking about my top 5 favorite scenes out of American Sniper. Number 5, Chris Kyle's childhood. Now this is where we're given his backstory in the beginning of the movie. We see how he was raised, his family life. We see that he's a churchgoer, he's very religious. And I especially loved his father's speech about there are 3 kinds of people in the world. Sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. And during that speech, there is a great sequence, ingeniously edited into there, of Chris Kyle beating up some bully who was picking on his brother. I thought that was very, very well done. Especially whenever Chris tells his father about the bully picking on his brother, and all his father asks is, "Did you finish it?" And Chris just goes. Number 4, Chris and Taya in the bar. Now this is a great scene I think because it shows us great banter, a great foundation for the relationship that blossoms between Chris Kyle and Taya, who eventually becomes his wife and the mother of his children and bloody bloody blah. Now Taya starts off really, really not liking this guy, but through some good banter, great dialogue, and a pretty good amount of alcohol, she eventually warms up to him, and thus sparks their romance. Number 3, all of Chris Kyle's sniping sequences. Now I love whenever you're looking through Chris Kyle's scope and you hear the gunshot and see the guy's like limb explode or something, that is great. I personally am a big fan of anything having to do with sniping. And these sequences, these scenes are just absolutely perfect. At times they're nail-biting. Sometimes he wants to kill the person, sometimes he doesn't want to kill the person. But does he? Yeah, usually. And it's pretty emotionally gripping at times, to be honest with you, and it's just great stuff. You're looking through his scope and you can hear his breathing. You can almost feel his heartbeat. I mean, it is very, very well done. Number 2, the child picking up the RPG. Now this kind of falls into a sniping scene, but at the same time it's kind of different because he never takes the shot. He shoots a guy who drops an RPG, a kid runs along, stops and looks around, and Chris Kyle is holding his gun, just whispering to himself, "Don't pick it up, you son of a bitch, don't pick it up." But the kid eventually does pick it up, and Chris Kyle's finger is poised over the trigger, waiting to take that shot if he has to, but he doesn't want to because it's a kid. And when the kid finally does drop the RPG, Chris Kyle doesn't give out a sigh of relief or anything like that. He actually dry heaves like he was about to vomit. I thought that was very realistic. I thought that was probably the best reaction that someone could have given in that kind of a situation. It's not... It's more like... And that is thanks to Bradley Cooper's ingenious acting, his ingenious portrayal of this character. By the way, Bradley Cooper got freaking jacked to play this guy. Number 1, Chris Kyle's first kill. Now this is kind of shown to you in the opening scene of the movie, the very opening scene. Now I'm sure some of you have seen this in the trailer where the woman hands a grenade to her son and the son runs forward like he's about to throw the grenade at these approaching Marines. And you never really know whether or not Chris Kyle took that shot until later in the movie, whenever you see, yes, he did take the shot. He did kill the kid. He killed the kid and his mother. And instead of celebrating or making his reaction to killing the kid overly grim, whenever his buddy puts his hand on his shoulder congratulating him, Chris Kyle just says, "Get the fuck off me," and doesn't say anything else. He talks a little bit about how he felt about it later, but that right there was very, very powerful. Well guys, that is it. Obviously, I really love this movie. I love military movies in general. One of my personal favorites being We Were Soldiers. I think that movie is a great one, which I will probably do a review on at some point. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next review.